What is up, everybody? Welcome to Kyle the Pug's Sports Review, episode number uno. That is right, and for those who don't know what uno means in Spanish, that means episode number one. Now, why are we doing this, instead of, the podcast? But either way, I'm not going to get rid of it. I mean, this is just a new idea I've came up with for my sports channel. And for my sports channel, I haven't posted anything in a long time, which I actually was going to post a couple of podcast videos that, my co-host and I did like a few weeks ago. But then we had some recording technical problems, and then apparently those episodes just became lost episodes for that matter. So here we are. I mean, like I said, we're not going to get rid of the podcast, but sooner or later we will try to do it eventually because I have so much going on in my life. It's ridiculous. But either way, we are here. We are live here. This is the Sports Review, episode number one. It's going to be a 30-minute show. We're going to talk about the hottest topics in sports for the day. And, of course, we're probably going to do this Friday and Monday as well. So, that being said, I'm Kyle the Pug, a.k.a. Kyle Lodi, and this is the Kyle the Pug Sports YouTube channel. And, of course, this individual here is Cowboy Nick. As always, how you doing, pal?
I'm doing good, man. That's Cowboy Nick. Cowboy Nick. Oh, yes, Cowboy Nick. And for all you folks out there who are wondering, where have I been? Just driving around.
You've been dead for weeks, and now you've risen from the grave. That's what's happened.
What am I now? What's the name for Tales from the Crypt?
No clue what that is, but let's move on with our topics. Now let's start off with the NFL here really quick. He says, as you all know, the NFL draft is tomorrow, and there's a lot of juicy gossip going around in the NFL. With the Rams, of course, getting the first pick, and then after that, they won't have any more picks until the fourth round. And then we actually did talk about this on one of our previous shows before the recording got AWOL. And of course, we have Johnny Manziel, his court date set to be May 5th after his situation. And then we got Tom Brady's little suspension that he has to do for 4 games. Finally, I don't know why they didn't do that, last season. But either way, we're going to talk about these topics for the first 10 minutes. So let's start off with the Rams. Who do you think the Rams will pick at number 1 between the 2 quarterbacks selected?
It's tough. I've been looking at it, but I really can't tell. From what it looks like right now, in the scouting group.
Yeah, we love to hear Cowboy Nick's sound effects.
Yeah, and in the top scouting for 2016, right now it's defensive end Joey Bosa from Ohio State. So.
Okay, well, let's talk about one of the quarterbacks here. Is Jared Goff or, of course, Carson Wentz will be the official, the 2 quarterbacks that the Rams are supposedly trying to select here. So, who fits the Rams more, do you think, between Goff and Wentz?
I like Wentz. Honestly, I like Carson Wentz. I do like his play style. I do like the way he handles his team. Jared Goff is pretty good as well, but I like Wentz. I just like Wentz more.
Well, we have, of course, Goff, who's been on that high-caliber offensive Cal, which was absolutely amazing for them. And then, of course, Carson Wentz is just more of a, all-around kind of a guy. And basically, when you think about it, and when everybody else thinks about it too, it's really a tough decision to actually think about here, especially with those 2 quarterbacks when people really don't need quarterbacks except for the top 5 teams in the draft. And when you look at those teams, of course, and we look at the guys between Goff and of course and Wentz, and then if one of them gets selected, then where's the other guy going to go? I mean, it's going to be a while before that other person's going to get drafted too, since they're 2 quarterbacks that are really good in the draft, and then you have other teams in need of a quarterback as well, but they're really, really low in the draft. But they might trade up though, so you never know.
Yeah, sometimes with the draft, in the end, you can always come out as a good trade. But when you look at it, in this situation, with the top draft pick, and especially when you're going for
All right, yeah, I see where you're going there. I mean, he does have that stride and that ability, of course, to actually take his team to victory. I'm not saying Goff doesn't have that either. I'm not saying he doesn't also, but at the end of the day, you've got to look at it and just say, okay, we can actually work something out here between these two. And I think both of those quarterbacks have a lot in common with those traits and strategies. And well, basically, we'll see where it goes from there. So, anyway, speaking of quarterbacks, let me just turn that off here real quick. And if it's the Tom Brady situation that it's actually. What do you think about Tom Brady's 4-game suspension finally coming around? Like, what do you think about it personally? I mean, do you think they're a little late on this, or do you think that they should have done it like a season ago, or do you think the time was the perfect moment just to have the suspension for Brady?
I think it's a kind of a good thing to have the suspension for Brady because.
No, I know that, but I'm saying, like, do you think they're late on the suspension part, or do you think this is the perfect time?
This should have happened. The suspension should have happened last year. It should have happened last season.
Yeah, so what we're looking at here is a 4-game suspension, and from what the court is saying that they couldn't have come to agreement, and on September 3rd, and of course, District Court Judge Richard M. Berman overturned the suspension then, but now we're looking at it now, and now the suspension is finally, coming around, and now you have a situation where Brady's going to be out for 4 games. And what does this mean for the Patriots in the first 4 games of the season? Somebody's got to step up between that squad.
Especially right now,
Mm-hmm.
is they have to look at, okay, what is getting ready after the draft, what is ready to start, and that's basically what we call spring training, and
Or the spring camp for short.
exactly, and that.
Or as everybody else likes to call it, training camp.
Yep, and that is the chance that they need. Why? Cleveland needs to look at the fact that they need to not just build their team around Tom Brady, which they can move on.
Yeah, and they've done that for like the past, I would say, 15. 15 years it's going to be.
Yes, and now that he's off his suspension, they need to get their other QBs that are possibly coming in and things like that, and have them work. And I'm gonna say this: they are gonna probably lose some games, but this is gonna be a good thing for New England because this is gonna show New England. It's gonna show the offense. It's gonna show the scout.
4x4 by land, 4x4 by sea.
Stop playing that, please. Thank you.
It's gonna show a lot of these people what is going on with a team like Cleveland. It must and needs to happen right away.
All right, so switching quarterbacks here real quick. So Johnny Manziel's appear in court May 5th, and his bond is set at $1,500 after the former Cleveland Browns quarterback was pretty much arrested on a misdemeanor assault charge. So what do you think about that one, real quick?
All right, he was arrested on a misdemeanor assault charge. Okay, enough said. He may not be sent to jail, but you know what? You still have to face your punishment, and paying a bill or doing a certain amount of things. You do it. Why? Because it's the right thing. It's the responsible and right thing to do.
All right, I say, well, that is just Cowboy Nick's thoughts on Johnny Manziel getting arrested and being in court on May 5th. So, moving on here, really quick, we're going to switch gears, of course, to the NBA. And this is actually some interesting but this is actually an interesting article I read. So, Kings fans are paying for tattoos for the fans featuring the new logo. And now, those who don't know, or we've been living under a rock this whole time, the Sacramento Kings have actually changed their logo. And hopefully the Sacramento Kings fans don't change it again, anytime soon, because after unveiling a new set of logos, The team is said that it will pay for a limited number of people to get tattoos of the new look. The offer is good only on Wednesday at 5 area tattoo parlors. So, don't you think this is kind of risky, Cowboy, that they're doing this?
This is basically wow. Okay. Number one, their team's not even, their team didn't even make it to where they need to be right now.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing is that if they actually somehow, if they have like one logo of the Sacramento Kings, and then of course they're gonna probably try out a new logo, and then people are gonna have those tattoos removed, and guess what that's gonna do to you? It's gonna give all the tattoo parlors out there a shitload, excuse my language though, a lot of money.
Yes, and this is the other thing that I'm going to say about this as well. I'm going to say this, okay? Okay, not all of the California teams this year actually did a really, really excellent job this year.
Well, if you barring out Golden State, of course, or the Clippers for that matter.
Yes. Well, you can kind of say that now because if you look at it, look who recently just got hurt, and now.
Well, there's two people actually that got hurt, but we'll talk about that in a little bit here. So,
Yeah.
going back to the Sacramento Kings here really quick, I'm looking at their logos, and it's actually kind of, it's a bit like similar to the old logo from like 1985 to 1994, except of the like fuchsia color and the more cerulean color, you have purple and gray instead of just the fuchsia and the lightish blue cerulean color.
When I look at this too, you can see how it says Sac in the middle. I don't know about that.
Sacramento, it's the Sacramento Kings in purple, and then under that's the gray back. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, and I know they're trying to redesign a throwback look to it, but I mean, I think it could have been better though. I mean, I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying, it could have been a lot better, I thought.
It could have been a lot better. They could have went a lot more because when you look at this too, originally too, the Sacramento wasn't even purple.
Yeah, it was like I said, it was more of a fuchsia, light pinkish, light purplish, and then you have that light blue, cerulean color, or like somewhere around that line. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but it's it's pretty much those colors, like one's on the top and one's on the bottom.
Yep. And now with this new look, I honestly don't know what people are gonna say or what people are gonna do. I think this is gonna be a bad thing for Sacramento.
All right, so moving on here, we're still staying the topic here, the NBA, really quick. We have, of course, the Rockets going into the Bay Area for Game 5, and that can be seen at 7:30 Pacific time on TNT. Golden State Warriors are at 3-1. Do they finish off the series tonight?
Yeah, and honestly, this is going to be an interesting series because it's going to be interesting to see because we're going to have in this series we're going to be able to see the Warriors and the Rockets. Yeah, but in this one, I'm going to have to go with the Warriors in this one because
Yeah, I do agree. I also like the Warriors to finish off their series here tonight against Houston, especially they're at home, and of course they got that home crowd advantage behind them. I think even without Steph Curry though, who's going to be out for like a week or two or so with that injury that he has, that grade 1 MCL injury, I think they'll still take it. It'll be closer than most people think, but I think they'll finish it off tonight as well. So, speaking of injuries, though, even if the Warriors do move on, though, they'll probably play, the Clippers, I believe, in the second round. They move on. So, if they do manage to play, well, I'm pretty sure they will. So, the Clippers do not have Blake Griffin or Chris Paul, so they're without both of those guys. So, basically, you're looking at, of course, Steph Curry being out. Then you have these other two guys being out between Blake Griffin and, of course, Chris Paul. So what does that mean for the Clippers? Are are their postseason chances pretty much endangered here?
It's at that point, but when I look at a team like the Trailblazers, and plus the fact that the Clippers are going to be home, I don't see the Trailblazers able to balance out against a team like the Clippers because of the fact that.
But remember though, the series is tied at 2-2, and then the Clippers are without their best guys. So let's say they move on, and what are their chances that they're going to have against Golden State? I believe I like Portland's chances now that they go. I mean, I actually did pick Portland, to win the series, and it's unfortunate that Griffin and Paul are not going to be seen in like any of the games that they play for, at least for the next two. That is, but. I mean, with them out, Portland's chances go up increasingly by tenfold. Don't you think so?
Pretty much, but you can't underestimate the Clippers.
I never said I underestimate it. I'm just saying it looks very, very slim to none.
It does. But the fact is, when you look at it at home, the Clippers are the dominant team.
Well, as of right now, but remember the playoffs are exactly a different story. So unlike the regular season, I'm not saying Golden State, yeah, they were dominant in the regular season. They set the records, yeah, but the postseason's a brand new season though, so anything can happen here.
Yeah, a team that this is just for because I've been hearing a lot about it. I'm actually still interested in the Hornets and the Heat game.
Yeah, that game's also 2-2 tied, just like the Clippers are. And that series, it's pretty much up in the air if you look at it too.
Well, plus, what's the name of the Hornets pulled off that Michael Jordan?
Well, and you're saying Steph Curry doesn't do that too, even when he's hurt.
I'm just saying,
like honestly.
They were talking about it on ESPN just a couple of days ago.
All right, so moving on really quick. Byron Scott got fired from the Lakers like a few days ago. So that was. Did you actually see that coming? Which I actually did as well.
I did see that was coming, but when you look at Byron Scott too, in the end, I'm sad to say this, but he actually got one.
All right, so let's go a little bit forward in the future here really quick. So who do you think can save the Lakers at a time like this when they're I'm not saying, they're bad, but they do have a young squad. Now that Kobe Bryant is gone, they got that nucleus, which of course that you're gonna have, of course, D'Angelo Russell, and then you have the other two. I'm forgetting their names right now. Forgive me. Julius Randle, and I think Jordan Clarkson's the other one too. So you have these three guys that are young, they're talented. They need more bench support in that lineup, and they also need a leader to establish clutch moments like Kobe Bryant did as well.
Okay, if the Lakers are going to look into getting some new players, okay, this is what they need to do. They need to go to these three teams and talk about a trade. They need to go to.
I'm not saying about a trade though. I want them to get younger. It's just they need a guy that actually be that leader, and I think D'Angelo Russell can be that guy if he actually takes his time. The Lakers can actually, if they can actually get all those elements needed for the team. I can see them being good. The next 3 to 4 years from now. It's definitely possible.
Yes, but who else?
But let's talk about the coach here really quick. Who do you think is a likely candidate to be the new Lakers head coach?
Just got who might be leaving Oklahoma. The assistant coach who might be leaving Oklahoma.
As much, I don't mean to interrupt you, but Luke Walton has been another name on that list. But he's been, the assistant coach. He actually helped out Steve Kerr when he had that. He was out for quite some time. I don't remember what it was exactly, but he took over, and that's what he kind of started with that streak here. So that's why with the Golden State Warriors, they were so dominant there because of Luke Walton's ability to actually coach. And he's actually a decent coach, though, too, if you actually move into that. So, anyways, moving on here really quick, we're going to switch gears. We're going to talk a little bit about local baseball. And, of course, Cowboy Nick, you are huge into local sports and all that. And you had something to do with, I guess, UOP, or you had some connection with them, perhaps. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, what's going on right now is I'm working with my bishop at my church, because he is an athletic trainer for UOP, and I'm working with him to try to get a job to work with the sports department at UOP and work as a one of their broadcasters or one of their internet guys to work with the teams and the sports part.
Yeah, I apologize if you hear the vibratings on my phone. Well, every now and then, because I'm tagged in a Twitter conversation and my phone will vibrate every 5 seconds because apparently my clan members are just being just themselves. I'm not gonna say the exact word, but anyways, keep going, Lochnar. I apologize if you hear random vibrates.
I'm working on getting a job with UOP and working in their sports department and working with that department and working in their covering the games, working doing interviews with the players, things like that, and getting that kind of job and getting myself into that kind of work.
Okay. Now, have you had any success building into that? Have you actually done some things for him, or what's going on there?
I have gotten some success with that, yes, because I have done plenty of work with my bishop and myself and a couple of other people at the when we were at the UOP versus BYU game, basketball game I did, and they had.
Now, is it always just BYU, or are there other teams that come into this against it?
There's other teams. We have Cal State Forces.
Okay.
Sac State.
I remember one of my old high school teachers going into there. We all know what happened to him, but that was a completely different story. But anyways, keep going, Lochnar.
We have St. Mary's. We have St. Mary's going into it. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, because I was just gonna say, I mean, if it's just BYU only against UOP, then it kind of raises a red flag there. Because why are you only just doing it if it's just one team? I mean.
I know that would be just it's not.
I mean, you gotta do different teams, though. Is what I'm saying.
Yes. Go to different, like a lot of times too. I go to the soccer games and we're playing against Fulton, Fresno, things like that, and I go.
And then sometimes they even play against Division I-A schools too.
Yes. So. And I have been to two of our water polo games, which is a great sport, by the way, for all you people who haven't ever seen a water polo game.
I've actually played around with that game once or twice with not competitively. I meant like for fun, like summer school PE. That was a long time ago.
I did it off the team, and I had a guy fight with my foot, but it's a fun game.
Whoa! You must have been another big boy thought you tasted good. Somebody thought you were pork chops.
It's a good sport. It's an Olympic sport. Also, by the way, too, for all you folks that don't know this, 100 days left until Rio opens up. So be prepared. Find out what sport you can't wait to watch because 100 days are.
That is right.
Rio opens up.
I was actually going to talk about that on Friday, but now that you mentioned it, yeah, I forgot Rio was this year. Thanks for reminding me on that. 100 days exactly, too. So it's going to be It'll be quite something to see because supposedly it's Michael Phelps' last Olympic games as an all-around swimmer.
After this year, he's about to retire.
Yeah, and I mean, the swimming and the track and field are personally my absolute favorites of the. I mean, if you actually watch like some of the preliminaries for the not water polo, I said water polo because you brought that up. The swimming events and also the track and field events. I mean, those are actually quite fun to watch because you actually get to see who gets to be on the team and who doesn't.
Yes, I like watching that, and you know what other one other summer sport I enjoy watching at the games is I enjoy. I don't know why, but I do enjoy the diving.
Why? Because you like synchronized diving? Is that what you're a fan of?
I don't know. It's just like I enjoy watching.
Why, you like the beauty and grace of it? Is that the whole thing with you, Locke Miller? Is there something you're not telling me?
It's fun to enjoy. It's really fun to enjoy.
I think there's something else behind that, but we'll get to that, in the future episode.
We'll get to that.
Like I said, we'll get to it. We'll get to it in a future episode.
Yes.
But, anyways, going to me really quick. I know this has nothing to do with anything, any of the sports topics, but I mentioned, of course, my phone, the vibrations getting blown up like every time there's this little going off. But like I said, I'm actually, for those who don't know, I'm actually part of the clan on Call of Duty called Triumph Clan. And for those who don't know who that is, they're actually an up-and-coming clan that's, they actually made the clan, I think, a few weeks ago, I believe, which I want to double. I think it was like, I think at least 3 weeks. This clan's 3 weeks old. So I managed to get into I managed to talk with these guys about, being into the clan and all. And I had to talk, the clan leader. I talked to him before. He's a cool guy. I mean, he's, he founded, he's the CEO, everything. Talked about, I talked about him with future things and all that, what I'm going to do with my schedule and all that. But what I do for the content creating team is that I just design, promote the clan and make sure they get themselves out there. And Cowboy, I know I've told you this, a couple of times, but I don't know if I actually said this recordingly. So basically, this is basically all I do is just promote, design stuff, things like that. I'm not like on the MLG game battles team, which people have said online that I should be because I'm actually halfway decent. But I told them no, I can't really do that. I'm not really that competitive. I mean, I am competitive in real life, but online is just I just don't really care. But that's why I'm on the content creating team. So I feel really enthralled and excited for that. Which of course, Locke Miller, I probably bored you, but whatever. So, I mean, I'm sorry if I didn't give a very good explanation of it, but all I can say is that I'm very happy to be a part of Triumph Clan. I'll probably link their website in the description below. And if you actually go to my Twitter, twitter.com/KyleThePug, you can actually see my header as the Triumph Clan, TC Pug, all that. And it's actually a really sick banner that they made, too. They made it for everybody in the clan, and I thought that was pretty cool, though, to say the least. So.
I'm just wondering when we're going to be able to take you to the tattoo shop and get your thing tattooed to your chest.
Not on my. Maybe if I had to get it on my arm, then maybe. But either way, I wouldn't be that crazy and put things on my chest because that would hurt like a crazy mofo. But anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in to episode 1 of this sports review. If you guys liked it, please drop a like on Kyle the Pug Sports channel. Please leave a comment. Let us know how we did, and we can make also future episodes down the road from now. And of course, I'm Kyle the Pug. That's Cowboy Nick, and we'll see you guys in episode number 2 with more hot sports topics from all over this professional sports area. And don't forget college as well. So that being said, have a good day, and as always, stay safe.